Welcome to our presentation on distributed denial of service attacks, or DDoS attacks. So what is a DDoS attack? Well, start off, a denial of service attack is when a server is flooded with internet traffic, causing the server to be overwhelmed in order to degrade its service or outright prevent its usage. A distributed denial of service attack is a kind of DOS attack where the internet traffic originates from multiple different sources. DDoS attacks are more effective than DOS attacks because the multiple sources results in more traffic to overwhelm the server and makes it more difficult for the server to differentiate between legit and malevolent traffic. There are different types of DDoS attacks. In an application layer DDoS attack, the sources continually send HTTP GET requests to a server. Sending the GET request is computationally cheap on the client side, but can be expensive to service on the server side. An example of a protocol DDoS attack is a SYN flood. Here, the sources constantly send TCP handshake requests with spoofed IP addresses. The server tries to respond, but because of the spoofed IP, the final response is never received, overwhelming the server. Here we see a basic model of DDoS attack with an attacker controlling multiple different bots, with all those bots then sending malicious packets to flood the server, causing it to degrade. So
So
let's
how
defend. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
so how do we defend against a DDoS attack? Due to DDoS attacks being difficult to recognize, they are hard to defend against. An increase in traffic isn't any cause for alarm, and even if you know there's a DDoS attack, it's hard to tell which traffic is malicious. A severe method is black hole routing. All traffic gets discarded no matter what. Rate limiting reduces the amount of requests the server takes and over a set period, or a web application firewall stands between a server and the internet, and they can be configured to block or allow specific requests. So I have made this small, simple Python model of a DDoS attack, or more or less a DOS attack in this case, just because not sending it from multiple sources. And so if we play this video, you can see here we load up the server. And then right here is where we start initiating the attack. So going back into the server, we can see the server is getting flooded by packets. So we go into code here. I can go more in depth of what is happening. So all I'm using is the threading library and the request library. The threading library is what allows me to send multiple packets simultaneously just by calling a method simultaneously all at once. I currently have it set to 100 threads just because we're not trying to actually overload anything. We're just simulating. And so all we're doing, I have this method that sends a request over to the specified URL. And I also have this method called start attack, which is just an infinite loop that calls the send request method over and over again. And so I also have this loop here that'll loop through the number of threads I have specified. It'll create a thread that is linked to starting attacks to a specified URL. I also have the threads as a daemon because if I didn't have that, I would not be able to exit the program safely. Because if it's not a daemon, it will try to finish up all the threads before ending, which cannot be done in an infinite loop. And so once I have all that specified, I just start each thread. And so the server, it's just a little simple server that just allows us to display what is actually happening in the attack. And so to go back, we wanted to talk about a real world example of something that happened recently. Last year, the Internet Archive came under multiple DDoS attacks for an extended period of time, and it started around May 25th and continued off and on until at least November 14th. The access to the archive as well as the Wayback Machine was intermittent at best, meaning you're not likely to get onto it. And the attacks did not seem to be targeted for any specific reason. The Internet Archive focused on tightening firewall technologies and updating old systems in order to combat the attack. And as of right now, there isn't any issues with the website, thankfully.
So those are our sources. Thank you for watching our presentation on JustX. Hope you learned something new.